Good evening, Internet, and welcome to Top Shift 68. Now, this is a special Top Shift because this is the results of the live event which has been happening since the 28th of August. And yesterday, the 30th, it was announced that we have discovered evidence of an alien spaceborne civilization. Now, we've had the barnacles before, and the alien probes, but this is the first time that we've actually seen an alien vessel. And here it is, right here. And as you can see, it looks very, very organic. Just similar to what you would expect the Thargoids, the original antagonists from the first and the third Elite games, to be flying. So, with this, as you can imagine, there's a whole load of excitement that's been battering about the community. Now, on the 28th of August, it was announced by Frontier that they were going to be a great hunt was going to start, and that was triggered off by people decoding messages which were left in Gamescom. If those of you who are watching the Gamescom streams would have seen these interruptions, and within those interruptions was a whole lot of embedded codes. Now, the Canon research group got their tinfoil hats on and researched every single possibility that they could come up with, and eventually managed to decode something about the 28th of August, a message saying that we found something, but we're not going to. It's too good to share. What we're going to do is we're going to make you jump through hoops to find it. Well, the event started on the 28th, where sort of GM ships, I suppose you could call them. GM ships would turn up and give clues to the next part of the puzzle. It was like a massive treasure hunt. Which unfortunately was almost completely scuppered by the Smiling Dog crew when one of their players decided to take out one of these GM ships, because they look like a player ship. They're flown by a Frontier employee, and he thought for a laugh he'd just blow it up. Thankfully, two commanders managed to get hold of the information that the destroy commander was broadcasting at the time. Now, as you can imagine, the particular commander in question seems to have got a rather large kill order on him, and it hasn't made himself very, very popular. But it hasn't stopped progress. The entire event had a couple of hiccups, but as you can see here, it has finally borne fruit, if you see what I mean. The tree has borne fruit. Now, looking at this ship, it's scary. That particular head section, that main section, it's the size of two asps put together. Now, as we look round the whole of the crash site, you do get a scale of how big this ship seems to be. However, some players have actually looked into or hacked the game rather, and found out that this is only a scout ship, or it's considered a scout ship. Now, if you've got a ship this big and it's considered a scout, then I hate to think what their explorer vessels look like, their trader vessels look like, or their warships. Now, Thargoids were notorious in the original game because they would launch little automated fighters which they called Thargons or Tharglets, depending on which piece of fiction you read, and they were notoriously difficult to kill. And one of the things that they used to do is that they used to hang around in witch space, which is the hyperspace bit between two planets, between two star systems. And we've already had commanders report that in witch space, sometimes they will be hit by something green. Now, or they see a green shape, pass in front of their cockpit. Now, this is quite interesting because, obviously, as you've seen from there, the Thargoids themselves, the ship is very green. So, that could be connected. This also comes back to the special signal that has come from the unknown probe. Apparently, all that has now been traced by the Cannon group, who are affectionately known as the Tinfoil Hat Brigade. And it's now known that there's a planet location which is locked behind a permit that the message points to. Now, this all bodes well for 2.2 and beyond, because Frontier have said that at this moment the Great Hunt was to lead to this particular crash site. However, we kind of beat them to it. We'd gone through, I think, 4 or 5 of the clues, and someone had managed to find the wreck before the other clues were actually handed out. So Michael Brooks has said so far that what they're going to do is they're going to carry on running with it. But now that everybody knows where the wreck is, you can now go and see it. Now, what do we know about Thargoids? Well, Thargoids are a warlike insectoid race from the old fiction in the game. According to Michael Brooks and David Braben, they are all female. We do believe that they were involved in several wars at once, and there is a book, an official fiction book called Out of Darkness, which deals with the Thargoids in a very, very hands-off way, because, well, obviously Frontier have had this hidden in the background waiting to come out, so, you know, they didn't want to obviously spoil it, which makes an interesting point about the offline mode. There was a whole controversy, I think a month before this was released properly, well, 3 months, where they said, actually, we're not letting people go offline. You've always got to be online, even in single player mode. And the reason was because they were scared that secrets like this, which would have been put in the game, would be discovered far, far too early. And they didn't trust the player base effectively to have to leave the source code alone, because there are always hackers who are trying to peek and poke their ways about, and Frontier were very, very protective about what they're going to do with this game. So one of the reasons they pulled the offline mode was particularly for this. But for this kind of thing. So again, if people hadn't have hacked the game, we wouldn't know what that kind of ship was. We know it's a scout ship now, but it looks big enough to be a full-blown warship. Now, there are a lot of battle debris fields around here at the moment, and quite large ones. It looks like even capital level ships have been destroyed in fights, but there's no trace of any alien wreckage. So they either retrieve it or it self-destructs, and the worst and scary bit about it is that we haven't been able to damage these ships at all. So going forward, it looks like that 2.2 will have more of this plot thread running through it, and I've got a horrible feeling that all those wonderful new things like fighters and engineer, well, there's a lovely Corvette flying by, the Corvette, you know, the enhanced weapons that we'll get from the engineers, I think we're going to need them. I've got a horrible feeling that those engineers are the people that are going to be researching and coming up with weapons which will be able to deal with threats like this. Of course, it would be helpful if we didn't have to face threats like this, where we could have a peaceful coexistence, and in fact there is a community movement at the moment to try and avoid any kind of Minbari-like incident. Now, look up Babylon 5 if you know what I mean about that. So any misunderstandings. But it might be too late. That might have already happened, and the Thargoids are on their way, and we never knew about it. But still, it's an exciting time for Elite Dangerous, and I think 2.2 is going to take this story a lot further. So thanks for sticking with me.